The winter wind swept across the Montana frontier like a living thing, rattling loose boards and carrying the scent of snow. Elias Turner stood on the porch of his lonely homestead, a silhouette carved against the dying light. At 41, he carried the worn look of a man who had buried too many seasons and one great love. 3 years had passed since fever stole Clara from him. Since then, the ranch had become a place of creaking silence and unfinished repairs. Every evening, Elias sat at the dinner table, staring at the empty chair across from him, the weight of solitude settling heavier than the snow on his roof. In the end, loneliness pushed him to do something he never imagined. He wrote to a reputable matchmaking agency back east. He kept his expectations practical. He asked for a gentle woman, quiet and small, someone who could ease into the gaps Clara left behind. No drama, no surprises. Weeks later, a telegram arrived. Your bride will reach Bitter Creek Station on the 15th. On the day of her arrival, Elias wore his best coat and paced the platform like a nervous colt. When the train finally hissed to a stop, passengers spilled out. Soldiers, merchants, miners, but no one who matched the description he had in his mind. Then he saw her. The last passenger stepped onto the platform, a tall, broad-shouldered woman with auburn hair escaping her bonnet, a weathered suitcase held firmly in one hand. Her presence was strong, steady, commanding. Nothing like the delicate shadow he'd requested. "Mr. Turner?" she asked, her voice warm but confident. "I'm Nora Callahan." Elias swallowed his surprise. "You are the woman they sent?" "I am," she said simply, "and I hope that won't be a disappointment." He didn't answer. The ride home was filled with awkward silence. Nora looked out across the rolling plains with a kind of hungry hope, as if she'd come west not to hide, but to start breathing again. Within days, Elias discovered she worked harder than any ranch hand he had ever hired. She hauled water, repaired fences, calmed skittish horses, and cooked meals that made him realize how starved he had been, not just for food, but for presence. But the neighbors talked. Some snickered, some whispered, some wondered if Elias had been tricked. Nora never flinched. When a group of ranchers made a joke about her size, she answered with a grin sharp enough to cut rope. On the frontier, a woman built strong can outlast a winter. Can you? Elias felt something shift that day. Respect first, then something warmer. One stormy night, trouble came. Rustlers slipped onto the property, aiming for his prized mares. Elias rushed out with his rifle, but Nora was already there, shotgun cocked, standing her ground like a fortress. "Not one of you leaves with a Turner horse," she warned. Her courage broke the thieves before Elias could even fire. When it was over, he realized his hands were shaking, but hers were steady. That night, as the lantern flickered, Elias finally spoke the truth. "I asked for the wrong kind of woman, but the frontier, it sent me the one I needed." Nora's eyes softened. "Well then, let's build something worth keeping." And they did. Not perfect, not easy, but strong, like the land, like the wind, like the woman the frontier sent.